Hi everyone, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel, Naturally Beautiful Girl. So I'm super excited because this installment of my end of the year roundup is actually in collaboration with Reagan. You may have watched her channel before. If you haven't, I am going to link her channel down below and also up above. I'm also going to link the video that she's doing in collaboration with me as well. And I'm super excited because I really have always liked Reagan a lot and have always really enjoyed watching her channel. And one of the things about her that I really appreciate that I try to do as well is we both are unafraid to tell you when something doesn't work. We always in our reviews talk about products we like and products we don't like. And I think that's really important. It's something I realized like as my channel is growing and as I'm being sent PR, sometimes I do feel bad saying that I don't like a product, especially if it was sent to me. But first and foremost, you guys are most important. And what I have based my channel on and what Reagan has based her channel on too is providing honest feedback about products in the non-toxic beauty space. So that means telling you when we love something, when something really works, and also telling you when something really doesn't work either. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you products that I've used and tried in 2019 that didn't work for me, and also Reagan will be doing her version of this video as well. And what's kind of funny is when I was going through my products and picking out some of the products I was going to be talking about, I realized some of the products that I'm going to talk about are ones that Reagan likes. And I'm sure she's going to talk about products that she doesn't like that I may happen to like. And that's really something you should keep in mind when watching any sort of review is you have to take into account that person's skin type, just their personal preferences of what they like in a product, because something that may not work for me may work really well for you for the reason that I don't like it. So that's why I try to really explain thoroughly why I like something or don't like something, so that even if you are looking for different things in a product, you have the information to make a decision about whether you think you would like that product or not. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into this video. I've got a combination of hair care, skincare, and a lot of makeup, mostly makeup. And I also want to say there are different degrees of a product being a flop for me. Sometimes there are products that they aren't really that bad, it's just there are other products that I like better, and then sometimes there are products that just really don't work. So we're going to be talking about a whole spectrum of flops. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this and want to see more videos with honest reviews and feedback, subscribe to my channel, also subscribe to Reagan's, and let's just go ahead and jump right into this. So the first product I'm going to talk about, I'm actually going to have to put a picture of it up because I do try to declutter my makeup, and a lot of things that I don't like end up decluttered from my collection. I try to pass them on to people in my life that I think may enjoy and appreciate the product and be able to use it up. Because I have a lot of products, and if I don't like something, I just find myself not reaching for it. So the first product is a shampoo, and this is from the brand Sudsatorium. And I picked this up actually when I was in the detox market in Toronto. I went to Toronto last year right after Christmas, and I had the opportunity to go to the detox market, which was actually the first time I've ever been to the detox market. It was interestingly in another country. But while I was there, I decided to pick up some items from Canadian brands that maybe I don't have as easy of access to in the US. And they were carrying the brand Sudsatorium, and they had a whole line of their shampoos and conditioners in the store. And I picked up this one, which was the Strawberry Fields Forever version of their shampoo. And it smelled really great because it smelled like strawberries, which was just so much fun. This one was supposed to be just deep cleaning, good for your scalp, good for your hair. And I have to start off by saying that I have oily hair and it's very thick, and I also use a lot of dry shampoo in my hair to help extend the time in between washing my hair. And the problem with this shampoo for me was it really just didn't clean my hair. And I at first just was like, oh, maybe, you know, because sometimes when you're washing your hair in a hurry, sometimes you just don't get enough shampoo in your hair, and especially with non-toxic shampoos that don't have a lot of sudsing agents in them, you really sometimes have to use a lot of shampoo to actually get your hair clean. However, the more I tried out the shampoo, I found that it really just was not getting my hair clean. It still looked dirty after I washed it, and it would just get dirty really fast after I washed it. So I ended up passing along the shampoo to one of my friends, and honestly, her hair is significantly less oily than mine, and she still had the same problem of it not cleaning her hair very well. So unfortunately for me, this product was a flop. That's why I no longer have it in my collection. But I had really high hopes for this because it was a brand that was really based on, you know, sudsing products, hence the name Sudsatorium. But for me, the shampoo just really didn't work. It didn't clean my hair. The next hair product is one from the brand Captain Blankenship. Overall, I have to say I like the Captain Blankenship line. I like a lot of their sea salt hair products. But this one in particular, I don't like for one reason. This is the Golden Waves Sea Salt Shimmer Spray. And the reason I don't like it is because, as you can see, there are these like golden sparkles in the sea salt spray. And the problem for me is that they get everywhere. They transfer from my hair onto my clothes. They also, you know, if I sleep, they get all over my pillow. Like, it's just gets glitter everywhere. I really like the Captain Blankenship Sea Salt Spray for how effective it is at getting waves into my hair. However, I can't with getting glitter everywhere. I don't like, you know, products I'm using to be messy, and for me, this was a product that was messy. I brought this with me when I was traveling to China, which ended up being quite a big mistake because I was in business meetings and wearing blazers, and I wanted to wear my hair in waves because it was Beijing in August. It was really humid, really hot, and so I find that wearing my hair in waves is one of the more forgiving hairstyles for me during the summer. And this was a nice travel size version of a sea salt hairspray, but the glitters got all over my blazer. I just felt like when I got home, every piece of clothing was covered in the glitter. I felt bad because the pillows in the hotel also had glitter all over them. It was just too much of a mess. So I would recommend their sea salt spray without any shimmer in it, but the ones with the shimmer are just not for me. So I'm going to move on to skincare, and there's only a couple of skincare products I'm going to be talking about for the most part. I find skincare to be pretty forgiving in terms of formulation. Sometimes you'll just find something that's too heavy for your skin or something like that, but most of the time I can make a skincare product work. There are a handful of products that just didn't work for me. The first one is actually really sad. I really had high hopes for this, and this is the Ursa Major Bright and Easy Flash Mask. This is a small sample size of it. I believe I got it in the Petit Four box. And I love Ursa Major products. Like, the Ursa Major deodorant is my favorite deodorant. Their Golden Hour Recovery Cream is a beautiful, beautiful face cream. However, this flash mask is expensive, and for me, it just didn't do enough. You only are supposed to leave it on for 3 minutes. I thought, okay, that's really cool to have a mask that you can just throw on quickly, like while you're brushing your teeth, and really just have a fast mask. However, it really didn't do anything. I couldn't notice any difference with using it or not using it. And especially given how expensive it is, it's just not worth it for me. So I think there are much better masks on the market and much better products from Ursa Major, but this one for me just didn't quite cut it. Also, I'm going to talk about all three of these kind of clumped together. And this is the Honest Beauty, this is their acne skincare line. I was trying out their salicylic acid, their smoothing daily moisturizer, and also their clearing night serum. And I didn't like any of these. I found in particular these two products, which is the night serum and the cleanser, to be too stripping on my skin. It really just dried my skin out, and I was still battling with acne. It just put my skin in not a good place. I think there are much better products out there. I've been trying out some of the Derma E. Their acne skincare line has agreed with my skin much, much better. So if you're looking for a more affordable, accessible option, I would definitely recommend the Derma E over the Honest Beauty, but these ones just didn't cut it. And I'm pretty sure that this moisturizer actually caused me to break out, which is kind of funny considering it's part of the like acne skincare line, but something about this just was too much for my skin and didn't really agree with my skin. So overall, I found the acne skincare line from Honest Beauty to be a bit of a flop for me. I don't know, it was just too harsh and too much for my skin, even though I do have oily acne prone skin, which I thought my skin would be able to tolerate a pretty heavy duty regime, but turns out that was not the case, or at least not with those products. Also, I'm going to mention, as much as I love Kerrygon, there's one Kerrygon skincare product that I've tried out that really didn't work for me, which is actually quite impressive considering, you know, I've tried out a lot of products in her line and there was only one that I just was like, no, this isn't for me. And that product is her Essential SPF 28. The reason that this product didn't work for me is it was just too heavy for my oily skin. I have very oily skin, and something I always struggle with is finding a good SPF product, one that's not too heavy, doesn't make my skin get more oily. And this one in its formulation is just a very moisturizing SPF, which if you have dry skin is amazing, but for me it just didn't work. And I'm showing a picture of it because I don't have this product. I in fact passed it on to my mom, who does like it a lot because she has a drier skin type than me. And so this product works really well for her. But for me, it was just a little bit too heavy. So that's a good example of a product that can work really well for someone else, but just given my skin type was a flop for me. Now we're going to move on to makeup. I try out a lot of makeup products. Sometimes I find ones that just don't quite cut it. The first is a beautiful product that is just not quite the right shade for me. And this is the Armas Beauty Luminizing Powder in the shade Grunting. And I have seen this on so many people and seen it look so beautiful on so many different people, but for me, the shade is just too deep for my skin tone. And you know, there's nothing you can really do about that. I've got it swatched here on my hand and you can see it picking up the light. However, the underlying shade is deeper than my skin tone, and that just doesn't work as a highlight. Like, you have to have, for a highlight to actually highlight your face, you have to have the underlying shade be lighter than your skin tone. So I think for someone who is not fair porcelain in skin tone, this would be a beautiful product. The formula is beautiful, the amount of shimmer is beautiful, it looks beautiful on the skin, but for me it's a flop just because it's not the right shade and there's not a lighter shade in this product. This next product is one that I know that Reagan really likes and it just didn't work for me. This is the K-Voss Shine on Stick. So this is supposed to be a highlighter, but it's this like pinky orangey shade and it just doesn't work as a highlighter. It's super pink, as you can see here. So I really am just left kind of mystified as to how to use this product. I've tried to use it as a blush. I didn't really love that. I know Reagan used it on her eyelids and that worked really well for her, but the problem I have is that my eyelids are super oily like the rest of my skin, and this product did not stay in place on my eyelids. It just walked right off. So for me, this product was a miss. It comes in two different colors and both colors are not really highlight colors. It's a very odd product. If they made this product in a shade that's actually conducive to being a highlight, I think I would like it, but just given the shade options in this, it's kind of a funky product and just a flop for me. This next product is from Au Naturel and I am sad to say I don't like it. I thought it was kind of nifty. This is their lip oil and I have the shade Rose. And I thought it was just gonna be kind of like a sheer wash of color. It was gonna be super nourishing because it was this oil formula, but the problem I have with it is there's absolutely no color payoff and it's also not super nourishing. So here is a swatch of it right here. Like, it just doesn't have enough color. The color looks pretty intense in the tube. In terms of payoff, there's just not enough color. My lips naturally don't have a lot of pigmentation. So when I'm looking for a lip product, I'm looking for something that's at least going to tint my lips and give a little bit of color. and this just doesn't do it for me. So for me, this product is definitely a flop. If you want a product that's kind of sheer and adds some color to your lips, I really have been liking the Tower 28 lip gloss. That one works really well for me. So this is one of the new products from the Vapor rebrand, and this is their eyeshadow quad. I have the quad in the shade Archetype. This one is one of those products that's not a huge flop. There's nothing seriously wrong with it. My main thoughts on this product is there are just a lot better eyeshadows on the market. If this had come out a few years ago in Nontoxic Beauty, when there really weren't a lot of eyeshadow palette or eyeshadow options in general, this would have been good. This would have been a solid eyeshadow palette. But the thing is, there are so many amazing eyeshadow palettes now. There's things like the Ilia Cool Nudes and Warm Nudes palette. There are all the Aether Beauty eyeshadow palettes. There's things like Prisma palettes. There are just so many good eyeshadows on the market. And my main complaint with this one is the colors just aren't that pigmented. This shade here is supposed to be a bit of a metallic, but it's not that metallic. It's just okay, but it's not that great. And so for me, this really was a flop because there are just better things in my collection, things I would rather reach for. And I was hoping that when Vapor rebranded, that they would come out with some amazing eyeshadows, but that really wasn't the case. And a good example of a brand that did launch new eyeshadow palettes that are significantly better than their old ones is Ilia. So when they came out with the warm and cool nude palettes, they're much better than their original eyeshadow formula. And I guess I was hoping for the same thing with Vapor. I hadn't tried out their original formula, but I hadn't really heard many people talking about it. But you know, I just wasn't impressed by the formula of this. This is a product that I know Reagan really likes, but for me, it has been a flop. And this is the Juice Beauty, their liquid eyeshadow in the shade Mimosa. And I'll swatch it for you here. My main complaint with it is that it's just not that metallic. Like, it's just kind of a flat shade. I've got it swatched right here. It just doesn't do much. And honestly, I find the Kosas 10-second eyeshadows so much easier to work with and provide so much more punch. I also really prefer the Crop Natural liquid eyeshadows as well. I find those to be more punchy and stay in place better. It's a fine product. It's just hard to compete with some of the other non-toxic liquid eyeshadows on the market because there are some really, really fantastic ones. So this one just falls a bit flat for me in that regard. But I know Reagan really likes it, and I think it really, products like that, it really depends on what you are looking for in your eyeshadow. If you want an eyeshadow that just provides an easy wash of color on your eyes, that's a good option. But for me, it also just didn't stay in place that well. I also have oily hooded eyelids, which are the eyeshadow. So those are all factors to think about when considering a product, and for me that just meant overall that this eyeshadow was just not the right one for me. Another one we've got here is the Crop Concealer. Crop came out with foundations, concealers, all of that, and I love their foundation. It's one of my favorites. But for me, this concealer is just a bit of a bust. The shade's a smidge dark for me. As you can see here, I've got swatched on my hand. This is the shade Fair, but really the main thing is it just didn't wear that well on me. The coverage wasn't great. It didn't stay in place as well as I would like. There are just so many better concealers. As it's drying, it's getting darker, so it's oxidizing as well. And this was the lightest shade of the concealer, and I run into that problem with a lot of face products where the shade is just not light enough for me. I fully acknowledge that, you know, people with deeper skin tones especially struggle with finding their shade, and that is something that is much more pervasive than having the problem of having fair skin and not being able to find your shade. But it is something I've always struggled with. Regardless of whether I've used non-toxic beauty or conventional beauty, if you have porcelain skin tone, there are very few brands that make complexion products that are actually the appropriate shade for being on that end of the spectrum as well. And for me, this concealer is one that just, the shade isn't right, and there are just much better formulas on the market. I'm thinking of the Ilia True Skin Serum Concealer. The Hand Skincare Cosmetics Concealer is much better. The Fit Glow Conceal Plus, that shade is really great. And those are concealers I would just much rather use than this one. Another product that really just hasn't worked that well for me is this one from Well People. So this is their Narcissistic Foundation. I have the shade 0, which is Ivory. I've got a swatch right here on my thumb. The shade itself is a pretty good shade. You can see how much that concealer, the crop concealer has darkened on my hand. It's pretty crazy. The shade of this foundation is pretty good for me, but my main complaint with it is that it's just a very heavy stick foundation. I really love the Au Naturel stick foundation. I love the shade of that one. I love how it wears on my skin, how it looks. But this one just feels heavy on your skin, and if I had to put the two side by side, I would just so much rather go with the Au Naturel stick foundation than this one. And for that reason, this one is just a bit of a flop for me. The final product, I feel a bit bad talking about it because I've only used it once. And the one and only time I've used it is today. But this is a product that I'm willing to give it a second shot. And if you guys use it, let me know in the comment section down below how you get it to work for you, because this one really didn't work for me. And this is the Perez Beetroot Cheek and Lip Tint. A little while ago, Perez was having a sale, and I decided to order some more things from the brand because I liked a lot of the products I tried out. I had done a brand overview. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think it was like 2 years ago now. And I decided that I would like to do like a part 2, like a follow-up, and talk about some more of their products, and especially some of their newer releases. This is an older product, and I vaguely remember Reagan not liking this, and I probably should have listened to that voice in my head a little bit more before I purchased it, but I did not have a good time with this. This is the shade Joy, and the problem I had with it, well, I had a multifaceted problem with this. I tried it on both my cheeks and my lips. The problem I had was I couldn't get it to show up on my cheeks. I was trying to build up the product, and I was just having a really hard time building it up to where you could actually see it on my cheeks. Also, this product dries a little bit too fast. You know, I like a liquid product that dries quickly, that you don't have to kind of wait for it to set, but this one, it dries so fast, it's really hard to get it blended out prior to it setting. And I just was struggling to get the color built up on my cheeks. It was looking really splotchy. I ended up actually going over this product with the Kani Botanicals, their lip and cheek product in Vixen. And that's actually what you see as my blush. You really can't see this product. I also tried it on my lips, and that was not working too well either. The problem I was having with it is similar to what I was having on my cheeks. I was able to get the color built up a bit better, but it was really splotchy. I was able to get it built up on some places, but not on other places. And then, to add insult to injury, I was using, I finally got most of it off, but it's still a little pink. I was using my middle finger here to actually blend the product on my cheeks and on my lips, and somehow couldn't get the pigment on my lips and my cheeks, but my finger was bright red by the time I was done. It was completely stained. I had to get a makeup wipe and really scrub at my finger. Like I said, it's still a bit pink. It's looking better now, but overall this just really didn't work for me. Let me know if you use this product, how you get it to work, but I was really just not having a good time with it. And that was a case where the formula for me was just not quite right. So I hope you found this helpful, hearing about some of the products that I've tried out in 2019 that just didn't work for me. If you like this video and like this style of video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to go check out Reagan's video. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you will enjoy hers as well. Subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Reagan's channel. Also follow me on Instagram. My handle is naturallybeautifulgirl. I follow Reagan on Instagram as well. I'll put her handle as well. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.